Hello Sagittarius, welcome to your tarot reading. So this will run roughly from the 15th until the 30th, and once again I am so sorry for getting these out so late for you guys. So let's see what we have going on for you here. Alright, so first two cards, we have the Hierophant and crossed by the Six of Wands. The Hierophant is in the reverse position. So the Hierophant deals with an institutional setting. It can also deals with customs, tradition, norms, and things like that. And the Six of Wands crossing it is a card about success. It indicates to me breaking down old structures in order to step out into the world, in order for you to get a brand new start or a new lease on life. This can be in a works environment, I feel, but a lot of it has to do with, finding that new sense of breaking away from old structures in order to live the life or direct your life in the direction that you want. Okay, so this is a very beautiful, groundbreaking type of energy. In terms of your recent past, we do have here the Seven of Coins, the Seven of Pentacles, which indicates to me a situation in which two people, this can be a marriage situation or a work environment, in which two people have actively contributed to the growth, have built up a foundation for something to grow upon. Okay, so it's also very nice. What's coming in here, we have the Seven of Swords. So the two sevens, it's sevens once again is a very, very spiritual number. And the Seven of Swords in the reverse position, meaning that I do feel one person is potentially in the past, if the relationship has been very egalitarian, I do feel there is a shift, a turnaround here in which one person might not be willing to put up with the structure, the rigidity associated with this work environment or this relationship environment, and as a result one person might be stepping out or one person might be cutting their losses. Okay, what's crowning you here is the Queen of Coins. So a lot of you for this month, well, for quite some time actually, a lot of you have been dealing with some like an earth sign. This is Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, and I do sense that in terms of compatibility, you have to understand that the earth sign is very self-protected, okay? And it takes them a really long time to reach a decision, and they do, take their time to mull over a decision, and they do take their sweet time when it comes to deciding on something, okay? So they don't have a totally carefree attitude, but I feel that for a lot of you, there is a situation here concerning an earth sign, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, their sun, moon, or rising, and there is also potentially a very, very strong business type of environment, work situation, income generating endeavor that you are in a partnership with somebody. And I do feel there's possibly a third party coming through and a third party also being weaned out. Okay, so what I mean by this is, for example, if you are in a relationship and the relationship has been very, very steady all along, and for some reason somebody was trying to get in between you and a significant other, I do sense that their efforts are going to be thwarted and their efforts are not coming to fruition, because at the heart of this here we do have the Three of Cups, which indicates a type of threesome type environment, or it's the beginning, the merger, or the very beginning in which the third person is starting to break their way through. Okay, so I just want you to be careful of this energy, because I do feel this is a game changer month for a lot of you. We are kind of like on the threshold of something new. As a result of it, it's a new thing, so tread very, very carefully. Be aware of your surrounding and be very, very, I guess, vigilant. Just be very vigilant for the second half of this month when it comes to your interactions with another person. If you are dealing with an earth sign in particular, they're showing up here as a Queen of Coins, which is somebody who is very trustworthy, who will take care of you, okay? So this can be male or female. So if this is a work environment, I feel that you know where you stand with this person. What you see is pretty much what you're going to get, because they're in the upright position. And also, I want you to think about your past history. If this person has never done anything, there is really no cause for alarm. There's really, the suspicions will be unfounded. And I don't feel there's any I don't feel there's any malice. I don't sense there's any deception coming in from an earth sign. So just keep that in mind for this month. I also feel that, the center card in this reading here is the Hierophant in the reverse position. And it deals with a lot about potentially, a work situation that has been very, very stable. Something's going on in your work environment, I feel, for a lot of you. Something is going on where if you're expecting some kind of a monetary payout, I do feel that it is coming because we have the Six of Coins as the outcome. But I do sense that there's some kind of shuffling around. There's some kind of I would say devious behavior coming through from a large institution, okay? So this is not an individual. This is a large institution. If you're working for a governmental organization, if you're working for a company that has been a reputable company that has been around for quite some time, there's some kind of internal either changes in their procedures or there's something shuffling around. There's some shift in the work environment, I feel, for a lot of you. So this is something to keep in mind. However, we do have, good cards here that indicate success, getting the recognitions that you need. If you feel like you've been overpowered by a supervisor or somebody in your work environment who is not giving you, the proper congratulations that you've been asking for, then I do sense that it is going to be coming by the end of this month. And the end of this month is also, the Thanksgiving holiday season. So I do feel that in a work environment, there might be a lot of office parties. There might be, situations where you're running into the work crowd and it's a mingling between work and play. So it's a interesting dynamics, but I do feel that for whatever has been going on, there's definitely information coming to light because the Seven of Swords is in the reverse position, meaning that whoever has been, unscrupulous, whoever has been doing things behind the scenes or doing things they're not supposed to, there's definitely information coming to light that will allow you to reach more of a, well, they will be exposed for sure. But just keep in mind that currently, for a lot of you, for a lot of Sagittarius sun signs watching this, you're going through your Saturn return, and Saturn is a karmic master, okay? So don't do anything you're not supposed to. So as a crossing energy, the Six of Wands is a card of success. However, the crossing energy can also be neutral. So it's like either reverse or upright. And one of the very interesting interpretations that I've read for this card, the Six of Wands, is it's sort of like you're at that point where you are getting the payout, okay? And you're feeling very victorious. You're feeling quite invincible. And so you let your guard down. And the definition that I was reading for this card is, it's sort of like letting your guard down and letting the opposition attack without you knowing. So be very vigilant for the second half of this month. That's one of the energies I'm sensing for a lot of you. Stay vigilant, stay alert, make sure that things are at the final stages of finality, of completion, or of wrapping up before you celebrate. So don't celebrate prematurely, okay? I do feel there's some information coming through at a celebratory function, at some kind of gathering. There might be situations in which you are dealing with an earth sign. This can be a family member. I'm sensing for a lot of you, for the past few months, I've been sensing like this Virgo Sagittarius kind of dyad where the relationship is very, very karmic. So there is possibly an earth sign in your family situation, and there is a celebratory energy coming through where you might have to cross paths with this person. So just be very careful, okay? I'm also sensing, so this is going to apply for only a few. So whatever achievements you have, procure for yourself. And I feel that you deserve the congratulations. So I won't deny that, okay? But I do feel there is a difference between kind of like patting yourself on the back for a job well done versus gloating, okay? So just be careful about bragging and gloating or you might deal with people who are going through this, where they've like amassed lots of wealth based on their work environment, and they're just gloating. They're just rubbing it in everybody's faces. So that can get very, very annoying. Just tone down your temper as well, okay? For the holiday season, it's just the proper thing to do. But family gatherings can also stir up a lot of feelings within us, okay? Because we are so deeply entrenched with the people that we live with, that we grew up with. So this energy itself might be a little bit problematic, and I feel like it's more of a Thanksgiving thing with a family environment, okay? However, on the work front, I do feel for those of you who are expecting a financial windfall, who are waiting around for new financial opportunities, I definitely feel a windfall coming through for you. We do have the Six of Coins here. The Six of Coins does indicate, a helping hand. This is somebody who is stepping in order to help you out financially. It also signifies a financial windfall, whether or not it's from an investor, a corporation, some type of institution. It's also coming through for you. So I do feel for those of you who are looking for like a loan or something similar, if you were to search for a loan or get approved from a smaller, like a private bank, a family bank, I don't know if those exist anymore, or something that is less institutionalized, I feel that you're going to have a lot more success, okay? Because I do feel that so we're going from 4 of coins, 5 of coins to 6 of coins, which is basically an alleviation of financial worries. But we still, at the heart of this, we still have the 4 of coins and the 5 of coins. The 4 of coins indicates, hanging on very, very tightly to your resources. But in this situation, I feel that, with the 5 of coins, it signifies some type of a karma, some type of a karmic situation, possibly a karmic relationship coming back in. And let your pride down would be my advice. Let down your pride. Allow other people to come in and help you. So don't be defensive for this month, okay? And likewise, you might deal with somebody who is a little bit closed off, possibly an earth sign, who's very like, I feel like they're a little bit wrapped up in their own obligations and responsibilities, so they might not be willing to let you into their inner life, let you into their what's going on with them. So they seem a little bit guarded. But I'm getting this energy with the 4 of coins, which indicates to me protecting your heart chakra, not wanting to put yourself out there because you're afraid of getting hurt, or this very, very like emotionally defensive mode. And it doesn't really bode well for any type of relationship when we are, closed off like that. So just keep that in mind and try to loosen up, I guess. Try to loosen up. So it's a conflicting message. I feel like you either have to be vigilant or you have to let your guard down. So I feel like even though it's conflicting messages, innately who you have to be vigilant around and who you have to let your guard down around. So for example, if you're dealing with an earth sign, and I'm seeing that the earth sign itself, they might be a little bit closed off, but they're good people. So regardless of your history with them, they're good people. That, they've got a good heart, they're willing to help and things like that. So let your guard down. If you need help, ask them for help, because a helping hand is definitely coming through for you. I do feel that you are going to be on the defense, but you're going to realize that this person has very good intentions and they're in your life for a reason, because there's some type of karmic ties. Once again, there's some type of karmic ties I'm sensing greatly for a lot of you. This could be like a daughter, this could be a mother, this can be like, somebody in your life. It doesn't have to be a female earth sign, but I'm sensing that greatly. Or it could just be somebody who is there is like a history, an ongoing history, with this person. And basically what I'm sensing is the way this relationship will progress is still to be determined. So nothing is set in stone yet, and you have the ability to restructure, reshape, redirect this interpersonal relationship in any way that you like. So keep that in mind and don't close yourself off to them or to their offer. Or if you need help, reach out. Just reach out, and whatever you project out into the world, you will get back. Okay, so reach out with kindness, with a helping hand. And I feel like they might be a little bit too proud to ask, So that's another thing to take into account, okay? That's what I'm sensing here. So in terms of the advice, we do have the Ten of Swords, and that's why I'm getting conflicting messages. So I just want you to be careful and be vigilant, especially when it comes to possessions being taken away from you, such as, theft, robbery, and things like that. If you're going out celebrating, and this is also a card of celebration as well with the Three of Cups, just be vigilant about your items, okay? And the Ten of Swords indicates to me that if you're dealing with somebody who is very, very emotionally closed off, and you've tried multiple times to just reach out and offer them, some type of a bridge so that they can meet you halfway, I feel like the timing is not right, and they're dealing with their own issues. They're dealing with some type of hostility in their past, and they haven't overcome that yet. So they will meet you when they're ready, okay? This is also a situation where I feel that if you're in any type of a work environment, try to follow the rules. Try to do things by the book, and try to make sure that you don't leave any paper trails, cover your tracks, whatever it is that you're doing. So for example, Sagittarius, if you're thinking to yourself, maybe I can cut corners, maybe I can dodge some of the responsibilities, just be very careful about that, because I feel like it might come back to haunt you. So just, keep that in mind and do things in a very methodical, thorough manner, okay? So take on the characteristics of a Virgo, in which they're very detail oriented. They've got a really sharp eyes. Well, they've got really sharp eyes, sharp intuition as well when it comes to if things were done by the book. So you want to do things in a very meticulous manner before you head off. So just be very, very careful about that. As for the external energy around you, we do have the Hangman, which indicates to me, it's in the reverse position. It indicates to me that period of waiting, that period of, stall communication, waiting in suspense, and waiting for something to come into your periphery. That time frame is definitely over. So I definitely feel very, very strong, busy energy happening for you by the second half of this month. And I feel like some kind of breakthrough is happening when it comes to an institution. This can be school, this can be work, and it can just be, customs, tradition, breaking out of your shell, doing something that you normally don't want. For some reason, I'm sensing it's almost like, oh, that's beneath me, I'm not going to do that. But for this month, you're like, oh, it's not so bad. So, and I use that phrase very loosely, something beneath me, because I don't feel you're arrogant, and I don't feel that, Sagittarius are very, very open-minded, and you're very much, you only live once, so you gotta grab life by the horn. So you know how to live life. But I do feel that when it comes to like philosophical beliefs and having that moral compass, you might tend to take that moral high road, or you might you might feel like you have a very strong, I guess, a stronger moral compass than other people, and you might like not approve of somebody's lifestyle just because you don't agree with it. But for the rest of this month, I'm sensing that you kind of have to descend from, I guess, your pedestal. you have to descend from your pedestal and try to see where the other person's coming from, okay? So for a lot of you, I feel that I honestly, so this once again is not going to apply for all, but I'm just going to say this. You have Saturn in your sign, in your sun sign, transiting your sun. You have the Five of Coins, which indicates some type of karma that is still kind of, it's in the process of getting released. It's in the process. So for a lot of you, okay, so let's just say for those of you who have had like a string of bad luck, if for any reason you've been having like a string of bad luck for the past, let's say 7 months. Let's do 7 months, because I feel like that's that's the energy that is being reiterated here, because we have Seven of Coins, Seven of Swords. if you have had a series of bad luck with something where things you're kind of like turned against a brick wall and you feel very stuck, if for any reason that is happening to you, I feel like there's some karma that needs to be released. And by released, I mean, I feel that you are holding on to people, holding on to customs, tradition, values that are very outdated. Okay, so I'm sorry to say. So Sagittarius, if you've been like, one of those people that have been, for example, just an example. If you feel like, okay, I don't approve of interracial dating, for example, and then your daughter, your son comes home with somebody who is of a different, racial, ethnic group, and you don't approve and you stick by it, I do feel that it is time for you to let go of outdated customs, okay? Outdated beliefs, outdated ways of thinking, because it's going to hurt your relationships. And likewise, if you're dealing with others who are, I feel like you might deal with others, especially another earth sign, who might have these, inhibitions about letting go of their outdated systems of beliefs. And I do feel that it is hurting their relationships. But once again, we can't really interfere with other people's life lessons. So just don't interfere with that, okay? But if it's specifically coming in from your end, I do feel that this is the month that you're going to realize the ramifications of that. And that's only for a very small minority of you, because I don't feel that everyone is doing this. And I feel like Sagittarius is probably the most open-minded signs of the zodiac. So I do feel in this way, this is for a very select few. Additionally, so for example, if you have the belief that, people should not live together until they're, like a couple, a man and a woman should not live together until they're married. That, keep in mind, that is your personal belief, and you shouldn't impose that on other people, especially when it comes to your children or when it comes to people you care about and you want them to be okay. But when it comes to, these very, very personal beliefs, it's better not to preach to other people, okay? So try to descend from your pedestal and try to look at maintaining harmony and balance in your relationships, rather than taking on a preachy stance when it comes to telling people how you feel, what you feel they should do or how to live their life. So don't encroach upon the ways other people live, because I feel that there is definitely, we have some very strong karmic things coming in, and this is going to be specifically yeah, I'm getting this very, very strong message. I feel like, okay, so I'm just going to stick with this because I'm feeling it very strongly. So, like I said in many, many videos, family relationships are some of the most karmic relationships that we're going to have, because we're dealing with, first of all, a generational divide. We're dealing with people who we've known really well, and they know how to push our buttons, okay? And we likewise know how to push their buttons. So if you've had like relationships with an earth sign specifically, or just any relationship in your life, honestly, that have been very, very troublesome, and a lot of it has to do with you not approving of the way they live, or they're not approving of the way you live, you can't change one another. However, if you love this person, you have to relinquish control, okay? When it's like somebody telling somebody else how to live, it's all about control. It's all about control. Deep down, you might say that I know what's best for them, and I want them to be okay. I want them to have a happy life, but it's like, no, we are not supposed to interfere with other people's free will. We're also not supposed to interfere in their life lessons. So let people live out their life lessons and let people learn things, because we all signed soul contracts for precisely that reason, so that we can learn these important lessons. So the trick here is, Sagittarius, for those of you who have had like very rigid upbringing, Saturn is going to bring about, it's going to force you to re-examine your behaviors, re-examine your values, your belief systems, your childhood conditioning, and it's going to bring up these, issues for re-examination. So, for example, you've just grown up in a very conservative household, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, it's a different generation. We do things based on, what is appropriate at the time. So if there is a major generational gap and a major, differences in the way people live. Okay, going back to my original point, what I mean to say is, if you have grown up in a very conservative, ultra conservative household, or you've just been grown up in an environment where your parents told you, for example, your parents told you that let's choose a topic that is not too controversial because of everything that's going on in the world right now. So let me find an example that is not too controversial, but that can still make an impact when I try to explain this. Okay, so let's just say that, okay, let's look at immigration. I know that's still a contentious issue, but so if, for example, you've grown up in a household and your parents, for whatever reason, whatever their life experiences is, they've told you that a certain, ethnic group, they tend to be economic migrants, and they tell you that, oh, don't associate yourself with that, ethnic group, mainly because they're of a lower socioeconomic class, for example. And you grew up believing that because, these are your parents telling you these things. These are people you look up to, you respect, and, over time that mentality is it becomes a part of you're indoctrinated with it. So then you grow up, and that was the way you view the world. And then you have children, and you just pass that along to your children. And like I said, it's a generational gap. So your children might be a little bit more progressive, and they're just like, no, mom, dad, you're wrong. This isn't the way, it's supposed to be. And things like that. So there's definitely clashes when it comes to ideology, and when it comes to childhood conditioning, when it comes to the ways we look at the world, there's definitely a clash because both parties will not relent on the way they think. Okay, and just keep in mind that these beliefs that we form very, very early on, they're not really grounded on reality, okay? These are just things that we've heard many, many, many times throughout our childhood. We grew up believing in it, but we never went out of our ways to find empirical evidence in the real world to prove to us that, yes, they're valid, or no, they're not valid. So keep that in mind. So descend from your pedestal and try to approach the other person from where they're at, is what I'm sensing, because I feel it's like the great clash, and I'm getting so many cards here that indicates karma. Okay, so karma that needs to be resolved, and all it takes is one person letting down their guard. Because I have this, and I feel like for a lot of you, it might be a female in your life. Actually, it might be another female in your life. It could be a friend, sister, mother. There's a lot of Virgo, Sagittarius dyads out there that have immense problems dealing with one another. But this is kind of we have the Queen of Pentacles, and then we have the Four of Coins. And this woman is hanging on very, very tightly to the things she believes in. You yourself are hanging on very, very tightly to the things that you believe in. And I feel like biologically, you might be older than this person. I feel that way. You have accumulated 4, so you feel like you have 4 of Pentacles. And you feel like, okay, I have enough life experience where I can prove to you what I believe in is right. And the other person is like, no, your life experiences are outdated and, it doesn't have any bearing on my life. So why don't you just leave me alone? So we are dealing with a massive generational gap. And we are dealing with 2 very, very, very stubborn people. So you and the other person, you're both very stubborn. You're very, very stubborn. So my advice is this. This situation's not going anywhere. It's an ongoing issue. It's an ongoing battle. And it is going to end up in a world of pain, because this is a card in which you feel cast out, in which you feel stabbed in the dark, you feel unloved and betrayed. So this situation is not going to go anywhere. This great standoff just to prove a point. And I feel like the other person, honestly, the other person, it's their life, so leave it alone. If you want to maintain the relationship, you have to do things differently. And I feel like this is the month in which that change around is happening for you. And you're starting to see, you're starting to emerge from this dark tunnel of like self-doubt, this dark tunnel of, where am I going? Everything I believe in is being, like ripped out from under me. So you're kind of in this dark place and you're starting to emerge from this cave, okay? You're coming into the light and you're starting to realize that, okay, so they don't mean any harm. They're here to help me. They're here to provide some kind of insight, some kind of guidance for me. Additionally, I don't have to be so defensive, because I might have to let go of a few things I don't believe in anymore, but I can still hold on to, So another thing, Sagittarius, you are one of the most philosophical signs. And I do feel mainly because you're ruled by the planet Jupiter. And it's also, when I think of Sagittarius, I feel like it's a very spiritual, it's a very, very spiritual sign. And a lot of you, you might not have an organized religion that you believe in, but religion fascinates you. And you understand the whole concept of, love your neighbors and do unto others and things like that. You live by it. So you don't need some kind of religious doctrine to tell you how to live a certain way. And because of it, you might be a little bit rigid when it comes to how other people live. If you don't approve of something, you just give them a hard time, or you just, exclude them from your life. But the point here is that you identify so strongly with your beliefs that you feel that, if someone challenges your beliefs, they're challenging you. Or if they don't believe in the same things that you believe in, then they're discrediting you as a person. So it's important to know when your fears are not grounded on reality, okay? So this is a month, once again, I'm going to focus on the positive aspect, because your hopes and fears is the 10 of Cups. And this is a hope here. You want equality. You want a relationship in which the other person recognizes all of you, and you want them to embrace all the things that you appreciate, that you love. You want somebody who is very, very like-minded, and you want an egalitarian relationship. And that's exactly what you're getting. You're getting an egalitarian relationship because you're holding on to your resources. You're holding on to your thoughts, your outdated traditions, cultural beliefs, childhood conditioning. The other person is doing the same thing. So as soon as you ease up, they're going to start easing up too. So you're mirroring one another in the way you interact, in the way you think, okay? So give an inch, give a little bit. Step down from your pedestal so that you can approach another person on more like of an even footing. I feel as well for a lot of you, this is going to happen. It's going to happen no matter what. So there's nothing you can do about it, okay? So my advice here is to let this play out, okay? Hear the other side's point of view. You have to really think about, what kind of outdated mode of thinking have I been holding on to out of sheer stubbornness rather than, its validity. So if you're hanging on to something because you truly believe that it's valid, and everyone around you is telling you, no, you're kind of, you're not in the 21st century, and do some research. Just do some research and figure out why you believe the things you do, and whether or not there's any empirical evidence in the real world to support what you believe, because old structures are being torn down. Okay, I'm sensing like with the tower situation, it's kind of like your old way of life is no longer serving you. Whereas when it comes to the Hierophant, it deals with customs, beliefs, norms that we have been indoctrinated with when we grow up. It's things that it's like deep-rooted childhood conditioning that you can't shake overnight, and those things are being challenged. They're being challenged, and they're being challenged potentially by somebody who is very secure in their thinking, who's very intelligent, possibly another earth sign. There could potentially be an air sign, because I'm getting this Seven of Swords, which is a very strong sword energy, usually associated with an air sign. So Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. And those people they argue like, they don't back down from a verbal argument, and they don't back down from a debate. So just make sure you do your research so that you know why you believe the things you do, and that you have evidence to back it up. So I'm going to say this is going to happen anyways, and the tighter you try to hold on and control things, the harder it's going to be for you, because I do feel old structures, old ways of thinking is gradually being challenged and broken down, and it's going to happen this month, okay? So at the same time, I feel like, so for a lot of you, if you've had type of situation, and you're telling people like, this, so I feel like some type of a gathering that will be the catalyst for all of this to come to the surface. But it's very positive, it's not negative. So if you can just let go a little bit, relinquish control, let the universe take over, let other people live their lives, then everything is going to be fine. If you have trouble letting go, I feel like you're kind of being hit, because Saturn's in your sign, so it's a karmic master. So it's important to learn this lesson now, because I feel like it's going to be in your sign for another 2.5 years. So it's better to learn this from the beginning, and then gradually, you will find a way to ease the effects of it. If you still try to hold on to things and outdated ways of doing or beliefs or things like that, then I do feel that it is going to be harder for you towards the tail end of this Saturn return, or Saturn transiting your sun. And so it's just really important to keep that in mind. Okay, so going back to what I was saying about the karma, one way for you to release this karma is, first of all, there has to be a healthier sense of self-identity. Okay, so the self-identity, there is a self-esteem issue here for some of you that needs to be fixed. And I do feel that I'm getting the Five of Coins here, and it deals with spiritual enlightenment, but it also deals with that sense of self-lack that we for some reason are not feeling adequate. Okay, so for a lot of you, you might feel like people around you are so much more intelligent or so much more financially stable. So instead of, and you want to catch up, basically, I'm sensing kind of like envy. You want to catch up and you want to be where they are. And instead of, doing things the right way, which is, working very, very hard, saving up everything, I feel that you might put on a flashy appearance that doesn't have a lot of substance to back it up. So that's what I'm sensing. Like, this veneer looks very beautiful on the outside, but it doesn't have a strong foundation, and it doesn't have substance to sustain itself. Okay, so An example would be, you know, would be like putting yourself in debt, buying all these expensive silverware so you can entertain guests with like caviar and champagne, and then you find out you're in a lot of debt. And you're so the veneer looks very gorgeous, but there's no substance behind it, okay? So that's something, I feel like that's a strong message that needs to be passed along. And I'm sorry, Sagittarius, but like I said, it's not a bad reading. It's just the messages are coming in so strongly. And I feel like it needs to be said, especially because it is the holiday season. And I do want you to have a very, very good therapeutic healing get together with your family, because once again, there's some karmic lessons here. And another way to release this, aside from the self-esteem issue, I definitely feel that you have to come into your own sense of appreciation, like self-appreciation, okay? It doesn't matter if other people are praising you. Maybe they're just, very closed off when it comes to giving compliments. Maybe that's not their thing. So you don't have to wait on people to compliment you in order to boost your self-esteem. That sense of self-worth has to come from within. And I feel like all the riches, all the money in the world, all the nice, shiny objects that you buy for yourself is not going to fill that void. So you need to come into that own sense of, self-worth. Cultivate your own sense of self-worth. Do not let other people's treatment of you, or just don't let people chip away at your self-esteem, okay? And one last thing, absolute last thing. I'm sorry for this grim reading, Sagittarius, but I do feel you are going to have a very enlightening rest of this month, in which your paradigm shift is definitely going to, there's major overhaul in the way that you think, okay? So one last thing, this holiday season, so going back to what I was saying, sorry for all the tangents and the segues, but going back to what I was saying, if you've had a series of bad luck for the past 7 months, let's just say 7 months, because 7 years sounds too, a lot of things can happen in 7 years, so I don't want to say that just because something happened to you within the past like 7 years, then you're saying, no, I have a series of bad luck. But I feel like for a lot of you, if you've had a series of bad luck for the past 7 months during the eclipse season, one of the ways we can release some of this is to do some charity work, okay? So this is the card of charity here, giving alms, giving away to the poor, giving away to the less fortunate. And going back to what I was saying about some of you, get off your pedestal, okay? It's very lonely up there on your pedestal. So try to descend from that high ground and work in the trenches where the people are. I feel that it is going to provide you with a better view and better understanding of people and their motives and why they do things a certain way. So if you've been indoctrinated, all through childhood, that so-and-so, this ethnic group, or, that group is always like this, and you want to find empirical evidence that we are all humans, we are all the same, we do what we need to survive, to take care of our loved ones, you're going to have to throw yourself in the trenches and to experience life in the shoes of the other people. So if you've had that string of bad luck, I would say, work in a soup kitchen for a few hours, for a few days, whatever your commitment allows, whatever your time constraints, will allow you. So do some charity work, just donate to the homeless, for example, or work in a soup kitchen, distribute some food, work in a caring environment, and, really try to understand where the other people are coming from, because maybe they do make bad decisions. Maybe, people make bad decisions, but maybe there are reasons why they can't get themselves out of whatever rut they're in to make better decisions, because they're in survival mode, because they don't have the luxury that you do. So for example, so I feel that for a lot of you, there has to be this, this sense of opening up your heart. You're a little bit closed off and you're a little bit blocked off. And I know that a lot of you have been dealing with a lot of hardships because of this Saturn transit. And I'm a Sagittarius moon, so I understand. And I feel that because of all this Ten of Swords energy that you've dealt with in the past, you're very, very emotionally, just guarded, and you're very tense. I feel like this very intense, tense energy about you, and you're just like, I got myself. Also, Sagittarius are very, very stubborn too. So you're thinking to yourself, and you're very resilient. You've put up with a lot, but you're still surviving, and you don't whine and complain the way other people do. But what it is kind of like you have this, pick yourself up with your. It's like this. I feel like, I guess the best way to put this is pick yourself up from your own bootstraps. I guess that's the expression, or whatever hole you find yourself in, you always get yourself out because you're a survivor. You're very resilient. You're resourceful and you're intelligent. So you're always able to get yourself out of whatever rut you're in. So you don't understand why people take that victim mentality, why they don't fight back, why they don't steel themselves and, get through whatever hardships they're in. But the thing is, some people don't live the way that you do. They don't think the way that you do. They don't have that inner strength. So this is a really good, humbling month. Well, this month is going to provide a series. I feel like it's a series of humbling experiences that will allow you to understand where other people are coming from. It's going to understand that your assessment of, the world, people, have been a little bit biased, I would say. So, allow this opportunity to come in order for you to do that, okay? So, what I'm going to say as well is, for those of you who have been in relationships, okay, and the relationship is going well and everything is steady and things like that, I definitely feel that it's more of the same old. But once again, you're both very stubborn. You and your significant other, you have to let your guard down. And I feel like there's an impasse when it comes to communication, when it comes to one side relenting or not acquiescing to the other. It seems like this standoff, okay, when it comes to philosophical beliefs, and is not going to clear up by the end of this month because both parties are kind of skirting the issue, and I feel that it might come up again. So, take care of this now. Just air out dirty laundry, do whatever you need to. Holidays is about love, it's about celebration. And it's also, just like spending time with your loved ones. So just clean up house this month. For those of you who have been in a relationship and there is infidelity, because I do see that here with the Seven of Swords as well as the Three of Cups, and also the Hierophant, there's definitely going to be major separations. The Hierophant deals with institution of marriage as well, okay? So family, marriage. There's definitely something going on in the family marriage front where things are not what they seem, but you're going to get the information that you need. I guarantee it, because you have the Seven of Swords reverse, which means that if somebody, if like a daughter, a cousin, or something is flunking out of, is dropping out of law school, or somebody's eloping with another person, people will talk, and there will be, a lot of information coming through as to some type of indiscretion that is done in your periphery, okay? So it's not directly related to you, but it's like something somebody's done, and it's like it goes against the norm, and then everyone's talking about it. So the thing here is, don't judge. Just don't judge. People have to live their lives and do things that they feel is appropriate to their own life path, to their own life lessons, and to their own circumstances. So who are we to judge? So get off that pedestal, Sagittarius. It is lonely up there. It is lonely up there. So you want to, get back on the ground. Yeah, so a little bit of groundedness. This queen is very, very grounded. A little bit more of a groundedness would be much better for you so that you can approach other people in a more open-hearted manner, okay? So I feel that whatever rut you've been feeling or you've been trying to cope with, that's coming to an end because there's new energy coming through for you where you are going to realize you have to start opening up. You have to open up on a more human level, and that means, loving somebody on a more human level, accepting all of their flaws. You don't have to be best buddies with them, but you do have to at least humble yourself to understand where they're coming from, why they make the decisions that they have, and how their life path is just, is. So despite, you're going to realize that people are actually doing exactly what they want to do, and that maybe you have been the one that is following, following the crowd, and you might realize that, maybe there is a better way for you to live. Maybe that what you perceived to be wrong was in fact people just following their heart's desires, and they're happier as a result. They might not be financially successful, but they're happier as a result. And in the process of you trying to accumulate all this wealth, you might feel that you've missed out on the human experience because you've been doing things that was expected of you rather than following your heart. And now you're trying to find your way back to this human experience. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So that is the very strong message I'm getting here. So get off that pedestal and live your life in a more authentic manner, because I feel like a lot of veneers, a lot of superficial stuff happening around you right now. And that is not conducive for anything that will make you happy, that will let you arrive at authenticity. Yeah, I feel like authenticity is the key word here. So Sagittarius, don't be upset by this reading. I do feel it is a very good reading. Not the way that it's interpreted, because but I feel like it is a good spread, because it does talk about just one of the I rarely see like central themes in readings, but I feel like a lot of the cards are corroborating the same thing, and there's a lot of karmic energies associated with this spread, which indicates to me that, there is a message here that needs to be conveyed, and I hope that somebody out there is getting, some clarity from this message. Okay, so I hope that helps. So please don't be upset by this reading. I do wish you all a very happy, and I do wish that just descend from this pedestal. Okay, get rid of the superficial stuff, because Saturn is going to take it away anyway. So you might as well take that preemptive strike and just do it for yourself, so that your life is a little bit less cluttered anyways. For those of you, so one last thing coming through, for those of you potentially facing some type of court order situation, like possibly a repossession, possibly a God forbid, but some type of bankruptcy situation. Just think of it as, this is I don't see any justice system, the justice card in here. So I feel like this is something that has been decided, and you're kind of dealing with this situation, and you're kind of in a really dark place, and you don't know where to turn. And the advice here is the worst of it is over. Basically, the worst of it is pretty much over. There is going to be financial help coming through. There is a person in your periphery crowning this entire reading who is going to be able to help you. Okay, so I feel very strongly for a lot of you, it might be a feminine figure, possibly an earth sign, that is going to be able to help you through this. Okay, so don't despair, Sagittarius. I apologize once again for the grim reading, but I do hope you have some answers here that you need. Once again, have a happy, I will talk to you soon. Take care of yourself.